All right, wow, can you believe it? 18 days until Christmas. My next guest suggests you stuff your kids' stockings with stocks. Joining us right now is Aquiles Larrea, CEO of Larrea Wealth Management. And Aquiles, it's good to see you.
So happy to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. So you think, look, why buy stuff? Buy them shares in a company or an ETF.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a bit of both. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you're going to spend $300 on an iPhone of sort for your child. You can take that same money and you put it into a stock certificate. You show them the benefit of ownership. You're establishing a habit early that they're going to remember this. It's kind of like a legacy for you for the rest of your life. So it's an important lesson.
And then you could also, they learn stocks may not go up all the time. They may go down, and they can learn how to follow tracking that company.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's a company that they know, like a Disney, or, you know, if they're young.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're young, you know, you see a Disney and say, hey, I see Pixar, or I see all these different companies. It's interesting to them, and they're going to go and look it up on the internet. My daughter loves that.
Yeah, she researches stocks on the internet.
Well,
what are the best stocks to give kids this holiday season, in your view?
Well, I think it's more important to establish the habit than which particular stocks. You're showing them ownership. Let's just say you mentioned Disney, all right? Yeah. And Disney, all of a sudden, it was, let's just say, for argument's sake, $100 you invested, you know, in Disney, and it returned you $80. For the, you know, for the year, or what have you. All of a sudden, you're showing your child a statement and said, "Oh, wow, this went up," and we're happy to see it.
So you do want to look for companies that are kid friendly, that maybe they can relate to, like video games as potentials. Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or
video
like
games or movies.
Apple's a perfect example. Too. You know, millennials, kids, they can all relate to Apple, which if you bought $100 worth of Apple, that $100 is worth $350.
Besides the stocks we were talking about, should parents consider giving some tried and true, yet to kids, but popular companies, not necessarily that they can relate to?
Yeah, you know, the so-called quote unquote boring stocks.
Right, because you want to teach them about investing.
Absolutely.
Looking for growth.
You're giving them a little salary, if you think about it.
Yes.
Those dividends are a little salary from that. And you say, hey, this company is paying you to own them.
How young can you start doing this? I mean, really, let's face it. Some kids, maybe they're just too young. But as they're, what's the right age to start giving them stocks?
Well, the right age could be 4 or 5 years old, where they're really starting to understand basic concepts. And, you know, you could wait a little later if you want to, but just establish the habit early.
So what's the sales pitch to the 5-year-old in your household? How do you explain to a kid, listen, you're not going to see it, there's nothing to really unwrap, or do you could wrap something?
I cheat a little bit, Maria. Yeah. I cheat. I give them a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because I think it's important to have
open,
both.
Of course. All right, we will leave it there. Aquiles, great advice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for seeing us, joining us today. Aquiles Larrea there. Still